Hundreds gathered today to pay their respects to Gary Beikirch. The U.S. Army Sergeant and Medal of Honor recipient died in late December. As 13 WHAM photojournalist Wesley Kriebler shows us, Beikirch was a hero both on and off the battlefield.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved.
It was an absolute privilege to be blessed with him as my papa. A privilege only myself and only my cousins could ever truly understand. Every one of his birthdays, he brought all 14 of us to Chuck E. Cheese. Each Easter, he would hide 8 eggs per 14 grandchildren.
I can't even go to Wegmans without someone coming up. Like, the influence he has had on so many people, I had to share my papa, which was amazing because there was so much for him to give.
One of the biggest life lessons that he taught me was to live a life of significance. Living a life of significance is far greater than living a life of success.
I pray that when he looks down on me, that he sees me living my life with strength of character, remembrance, faithfulness, and moral integrity for his honor.
We love you, Gary Beikirch. We always have, and we always will.
Beikirch was well known for his tireless work as an advocate for veterans, and last year a portion of Highland Park was dedicated in his name.
Another shift for Rochester City school students today. Half of the district schools will be resuming in-person instruction this Wednesday.
Things aren't business as usual. This has really upended a lot in our district.
Certainly not business as usual. A staffing crisis fueled by a surge in COVID cases forced the district to go to remote learning last week. Some schools will be welcoming back students on Wednesday. Others are expected to return to in-person learning by next Tuesday. But as 13 WHAM's Dan Schrack reports, the teachers union president thinks all schools should remain in remote learning mode. Dan?
Doug, that is absolutely correct. The president of the teachers union wonders how bringing half the district back is supposed to help this situation.
Well, it never ceases to amaze us that they can make a tough situation more chaotic and more confusing than it needs to be.
The Rochester City School District facing new criticism over its latest move.
There's no rhyme or reason why some schools should come back to in-person while others don't.
The district announcing today roughly half its schools would welcome students back Wednesday. Others would remain remote.
We know making any type of announcement, whether I stayed remote or if we brought everyone back on Wednesday to in-person, that there would be disagreement with that.
The district anticipating schools continuing the remote learning model will resume in-person learning next Tuesday.
Our teachers and our staff have been amazing. They had to quickly pivot and shift from in-person learning to remote, and they've done that with grace, professionalism, and tact.
The shift comes amid a staffing crisis in schools across the state. Districts forced to find coverage for teachers out sick with COVID. The Rochester Teachers Association says classes should remain remote, calling the split model indecisive, saying it could make the problem worse.
It absolutely doesn't make any sense. I see a bad situation and a dangerous situation getting worse over the next week or 10 days.
Now, the superintendent says before the remaining schools reopen next week, she and her staff will look at the data to make sure that is the proper decision. And Doug, we also asked the superintendent about the quality of education at a time like this.
Some colleges are shifting plans as students look to start the spring semester. Many local campuses are already requiring students to get a booster shot in order to return to campus, with the goal of keeping in-person learning in place. 13 WHAM's Natalie Kutchko joins us now to explain where the schools around here stand. Natalie?
Doug, currently most colleges we've heard from are sticking with that return plan of coming back to the classroom. That is with the exception of the University of Rochester. They've opted to go remote, at least for the next few weeks. Still, schools are continuing to adapt to these ever-changing times as this semester draws near. It's a quiet sight on SUNY Brockport's campus as students and staff are out on winter break. SUNY schools will require a booster shot from students upon the return to campus, as well as proof of a negative COVID test. As college officials explain, it's all about adapting.
The key to this entire pandemic from a college standpoint has been flexibility. We know that the state of play continues to change. The situation continues to evolve.
SUNY Brockport and Geneseo are both getting ready to open COVID testing sites to the community. The announcement came from the governor earlier this week as testing still remains in high demand.
It is so abundantly clear that our community is in desperate need of more testing opportunities. So if there's an opportunity for us to help our community, we're eager to participate and do whatever we can.
These efforts will be added onto existing testing protocols at the selected SUNY campuses. Nazareth College, like many, will also require boosters and a negative test and is keeping the goal of returning to the classroom as planned.
It's an evolving conversation, but our goal is to remain in person. The start of our semester is Monday, January 17th, and so we are continuing along with that timeline. We very much value that in-person experience.
Both are continuing to monitor the rise in COVID cases as start dates draw near.
It worked really well last semester. It was much more like, the 2019 academic year than it was the 2020 academic year. And we're hoping that continues despite the presence of Omicron.
Now, SUNY Brockport and Geneseo will be opening their new testing sites to the public sometime next week. They're waiting on the state to announce those dates and times. More information on area college plans can be found on our website, 13wham.com.